King of Knights Alfred encounter is here, along with the Stoicheia Ace unit, so let's begin. So once again, let's start off with the grade 3 generic with 13k power, Imperial Fang Dragon Grulion. Gets intercept and 5k shield on Rearguard Guardian, just like the rest. With the skill, auto, when placed on Rearguard while your Vanguard is at least grade 3, cost energy rest 3 until the end turn, plus 5k power, and your opponent cannot intercept for this battle that it attacked. And if you have at least 4 damage, or you personalize during the turn, get additional 5k power in the end turn, and then choose a card from a drop zone and put it back to the hand. Once again, run this on your own leisure. Recycling is always pretty nice, but it has to be restricted on 4 damage or Persona Ride, but the blocking intercept is just okay, but mainly just for the recycling. And then to the Ace unit, Mutual Thoughts Maiden Phase. Once again, grade 2, 10k power, Ace unit, 1 in the deck, unique skill, once per game. So the skill is auto when placed on Rearguard other than during battle, plus 5k power in the end turn, and then cost energy plus 3, look at top 7 cards of your deck to choose up to 1 card from among them, discard it, and of course shuffle your deck. Then choose a card that is grade less than or equal to your Vanguard and call it to Rearguard. Once again, not super crazy, but being able to superior call basically from the top 7, or basically choice discard from the top 7 and then superior calling is always pretty nice. But once again, other cards can do the same thing, especially for the respective decks. With the second skill, auto Rearguard when this card attacks if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3 plus 5k, but if there's 10 more cards in the drop zone plus another 5k. Being a big beater on its own is always pretty nice, and one-time superior call is always pretty nice, especially since you get to choose what to put in the drop zone. But run this in your own leisure. And now to the official reveal of Starry Sky Knight 0. Not going through the skills again since it's actually exactly the same as the leak, but as for a brief overview, treat it as original Galatine. On place, while you do not have the same card name as this one, you can Energy Blast 3 to draw, and then when it attacks a grade 3 plus 5k, but you have at least 4 units plus 10 instead. And the last skill finally makes sense because if it stood by your Vanguard's ability while it's Royal Paladin, and you personalize during the turn, you can Counter Blast 1 to nullify all auto abilities on your opponent's side, which can even include PG sometimes. So yeah, this is going to be pretty good with the new Royal Paladin deck, spoiler alert. And since 0 became a unit, we off to have Vagula become a unit, that being Shining Winged Star Dragon Vagula. It is a grade 3 with 13 power, and it's also treated as Soul Saver Dragon. Once again, this is just for manga reasons. Although, just curious, are they going to print the normal version as well? But anyway, the skill is count Rearguard during your turn. If you have at least a grade 3 Vanguard Alfred, this card gives us 5k power, and if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, this unit gets all the following abilities. The first one is auto Vanguard Rearguard. At the beginning of your battle phase, cost Counter Blast 1, choose 3 other units plus 5k power in the turn, but you personalize during the turn, all units instead. And the other section is auto Rearguard when this card attacks. If this unit is stood by your Vanguard's ability this turn, and you did not Rearguard drive check this turn, cost Soul Blast a King of Knights Alfred, and then to the end of the battle, change its drive check to 1, and of course perform drive checks. So basically, Soul Saver is now a Rearguard unit, but can in a way act like a Vanguard unit. Which, this being a supporting Rearguard, is actually absurdly strong for a supporting Rearguard, giving a mass board power up, but not only that, a Rearguard with drive checks. This is just quite insane for a Rearguard. And yes, if it stood by Vanguard ability of Alfred, which is a spoiler for Alfred. In which we go to the King of Knights Alfred, which is grade 3 with 13 power and the skill is count Vanguard. During turn, this unit cannot be boosted, and if your soul has a Blaster Blade, this card gets plus 2k power for each of your Rearguards, and if it gets at least 8k, and your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, crit plus 1. Very reminiscent to the original Alfred, but a bit of V because it requires Blaster Blade. And in this case, of course, since it requires it in soul, you might just play the D-Series Royal Paladin ride line with Blaster Blade on it. Which I have a bit of a gripe here because having that specific card in Soul can kind of suck sometimes, especially if you're going against the prison matchup. But already it's not too bad since max power could get on its own is 10k and an extra crit. Too bad it's just no boosting. But the second skill is act Vanguard once per turn, cost Energy Blast 3, search your deck for 1 grade 3 or less Royal Paladin and call it to Rearguard and force shuffle your deck, and then choose one of that unit's auto abilities and reduces Counter Blast by 1 the next time you play it into the end turn. Once again, similar to the original Alfred where it could also superior call something, so this could actually get more power, and the nice part is that it makes one of its auto abilities free. But the last skill is a newly added skill where auto Vanguard once per turn when this card attacks, cost Counter Blast 1, choose one of your Rearguards as Royal Paladin and stand it, and if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, choose 2 instead. And here's the completely new skill where you just restand your Rearguards, making Galatine and Soul Saver now making sense. Soul Saver by itself is already pretty powerful, and Galatine is a big beatstick on its own, so that's pretty nice as well. Since those Rearguard support is pretty nice, this isn't too bad. bad. The only thing is, you don't have that many Royal Paladins in D, so that is a bit of an issue. And if you have rear guards that don't really get power on its own, this might suck a bit because they just don't have much power, so those restand rear guards might not even do much. But overall, this is not too bad. It gets power and crit on its own, gets you superior call, and extra attacks. Just finding this weird that it's one of the original Royal Paladin units, and being the first main grade 3 of Aichi is now being released way later. And then finally, we got reprints. A lot of promo reprints, including the Blaster Blade ride line, which is pretty nice. And promo reprints is always a win for me, even if I don't really play the deck. But hopefully they do reprint more of the expensive staples in the main set as well. And so that's it for the new Stoicheia Ace unit along with the new King of Knights Alfred. What do you guys think of it? The Stoicheia Ace unit, it's just a whatever, pretty nice to use if you want to. But King of Knights Alfred, pretty awesome, and glad that they're also reprinting the ride line for Royal Paladins as well. Really not much to say about it since it's basically the same as the original, just requiring now the Blaster Blade and Soul, which sometimes you will have to watch out for, but I get why. Alfred goes with Blaster Blade. But in that's it for this, and see you next time.